You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5. Welcome back to the weekly Betoota Advocate Bulletin. Bit going on. Silly season's well underway. Might have said that last week. Pick your battles is what I'd say to everyone out there with your Christmas parties and your family functions because, you know, eventually the music stops. You're sitting there bloated and hungover on Christmas Day and you're mute. Let the good times roll. But, you know, you don't actually have to go to your misso's friend's Christmas party. You know what I'm saying?
You don't, absolutely not. I think it's important to have some perspective as to how you look at Christmas Day and that festive period. I don't think you should be looking at it as the finish line. I think that should be almost like that's round one. And, you know, this is like pre-season trials. You're just going to get through them. You roll through. As you said, you pick your battles. And then, you know, you can really lift.
And I think try not to get too fuck-eyed at a work Christmas party. That can always end badly as well.
Fall asleep on the couch or... Well, I'm Clancy Overell. Obviously, you heard Wendell Hussey on his David Goggins shit. And Effie Bateman joins me today for the biggest headlines of the week on the Betoota Advocate newspaper, both in print and online.
Yeah, and you forgot to mention there, Clancy, obviously it's a week tinged with sadness as we come to the end of it. Nobel Peace Prize winner Henry Kissinger has passed away at the age of 100. He was a truly wonderful man. I actually bumped into him at one of those $5,000 a head foreign policy dinners when you sent me over to Washington there for training. And he said hello to me in the elevator, and he was a wonderful man, just filled with charm and wit. And
you just feel the niceness radiating off him.
He did. I mean, he killed millions of people and responsible for ruining the lives of hundreds of millions more, but he was a wonderful man and a titan of foreign diplomacy, actually, so I just wanted to pay tribute to him.
I actually sat between him and Bob Catter at the Sydney Olympics when Kathy won gold.
What did Bob make of him? I imagine he would have had some choice words.
Said he was a fucking no-good coward. You know, contrarian old Bob.
Obviously that charm didn't rub off on Bob.
No, Bob saw right through him. Anyway, what's in the news this week, Effie Bateman?
Well, kicking off, and a bloke with a stable 9-to-5 white-collar job, proud to share his Spotify rap is 95% hard gangster rap.
Yes, local desk jockey Charlie Hammersmith has been eagerly awaiting this week for some time now, the end of November, where he gets to share his Spotify rap 2023 highlights via the group chat and social media. Despite hustling little more than spreadsheets and Kathmandu sales, Charlie has revealed his personal data that contains some big hits from Nas, Ice Cube, and Wu-Tang. Of course, a fair bit of early Tupac as well.
Plenty of Biggie, don't forget that as well. Despite his humble upbringing filled with Saturday sport, home tutoring, and tennis camps, Charlie says he loves lyrics like that of The Game, I bleed Compton, spit crack, and shit chronic. As he explained to The Advocate, it just resonates with him and gets him so goddamn pumped up to crush his goals for the day. Fair enough, Charlie.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream. $dollar bill, y'all.
What cities did you guys get for your Spotify raps?
Brisbane.
I believe I was Sydney.
Sydney?
Yeah.
Oh, I got Ipswich.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Sydney. It's actually quite embarrassing.
Ippy, what were you listening to?
Insane Clown Posse.
Insane Clown Posse.
Very good, Euphemia. Staying in entertainment news now, and a report has revealed that Australian cinema actually peaked when everything was slightly blue.
Yes, this study was commissioned by the Film Standards Watchdog, Australia's Registry of Screen Enthusiasts, also known as ARS, in response to the growing problem of local audiences shunning local productions for the plethora of overseas content now available with the introduction of on-demand streaming services. It's believed that over 60% of the nation hasn't watched a good Aussie film since Animal Kingdom in 2010.
As one of the lead researchers behind the study explained, Australian filmmakers want to present Australia as a sun-bronzed version of San Francisco or Notting Hill with timber verandas. No one wants to admit that we all have uncles who talk and look like Chopper Read. Regardless of ethnic heritage, the most interesting people in Australia are covered in tattoos and swear too much. Australian cinema lost touch with reality when they stopped making blue tint films, which is why these films are remembered as the peak of Australian cinema, back when characters looked like the audiences and spoke like them.
I miss those days of getting home on a Friday night, cuddling up on the couch and watching someone overdose on heroin.
Yeah.
Really love Australian films like that.
Or a bit of incest.
Yeah.
That's always a fun
I
one.
like seeing people get shot in the head with a shotgun out front of a pub. That's it's
It
a
hits the
classic
spot.
Australian story. Yeah,
It hits the spot. It makes you feel quite alive, I reckon. Some local news now, and a touching story here in town. A group of boys have come together to farewell their 5'5" mate who's off to the North Pole to work in Santa's factory.
Yes, a couple of all-time legends put on a brave face last night as they assembled down at the Gutshot Brumby Hotel in Betoota Heights to farewell one of the best who's heading out of town to work in a new gig.
Yes, local 165cm elf Zeke Stevens, or Meek Zeke, as he's known to many, is departing to the North Pole to work in Santa's toy factory for the next 4 weeks. What was by all reports a very fun night ended up with poor Zeke being placed on top of a cab out the front of the pub, which he couldn't get down from for quite some time.
It was very hilarious. I happened to be at the pub at the time, as was Clancy, and went on for quite some time. He threatened to jump down.
The cabbie was laughing. It was just such good stuff.
And then obviously the cabbie realised he'd get a fare out of him, so cabbie got him down and off Zeke went.
And in other news regarding unbridled Australian toxic masculinity, a foreign tradie has been mocked by his foreman for completing a job quickly and to a high standard.
Yes, Martin van der Hugenband has caused quite a scene in Betoota Plains this week. If you're not familiar with it, Betoota Plains is one of the faceless new display home suburbs being made up on the very edge of our town. And that Dutch roofer, Martin, has been chastised by his boss for completing a roofing job on the project home inside the allotted time frame and to a standard that makes it stand out from the other pieces of shit the volume builder has slapped together in recent months.
While many readers asked, hang on, isn't it a good thing that he's completing the work to a high standard in an efficient period of time? The foreman on site pointed out that Martin is ruining the grift for everyone. As the foreman said, Martin was explicitly told to piss off after lunch every day this week and drag the job out until next Friday. But Martin didn't listen, and now all the other blokes on site have to pull their fingers out. And they are not happy.
What an absolute fuckwit Martin sounds like.
Yeah, he just doesn't get it. And that's the thing, it's like he's not building social housing like he would have been back at home. This is just for big property developers, Martin. Who are you fucking working fast for?
I know. For
Silly.
shame.
Silly,
These immigrants
man.
just don't get it.
No. Hopefully he'll wrap his head around it one day.
Anyway, that's all from us this week. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your December.
Bye-bye.
See you later.